5 of our 8 players, even I should say, have been determined for our round of 8, and we are now figuring out who are going to be our last 3. At the moment, it is all star, absolute class here at the WCS Austin, as we do have to my left, Mr. Maynard and Todd still repping that laptop. He's glued to it like a hawk.
If I can't keep that laptop at the end of the tournaments, I'm going to be mad because I spent all my time here almost watching games. So
it's yours now. Just put a password on it that nobody knows, and then it's definitely yours.
I don't think they would be too happy. I wouldn't be back for these tournaments. Yeah, I'm actually following Jon Snow against Nurtio. We just went 1-up in Nurtio's favor. Jon Snow opened with an early pull, tried to be aggressive. He was cross-map Cactus Valley. Didn't go very well for him. So the Polish player is still looking good here.
Well, you are going to have uThermal going up against True here on the main stage now. It's an Intel Extreme Masters champion going up against a WCS champion, Maynard.
Yeah, that's right. He's actually also the best Terran foreigner. He's actually,
that's fair.
You know, it's pretty safe to say there's not too many people that are also contenders for that title. He's incredible, and he is up against a guy that's previously been of Kodos level. He's the jewel in the Psystorm Crown, which is a very large team with a lot of really great players, including like, you know, the likes of Gumiho, etc. But it is definitely going to be tough. It's going to be close. I'm really excited. uThermal's one of my favorite players of all time.
Yeah.
I wish I was casting this one.
An inspiration to you, I imagine.
Well, I mean, as a Terran myself and also a foreigner, yeah.
They are very evenly matched, actually. In the past, it's 3-2 in encounters in True's favor, 5-5 in maps. And if you look at so far how they've played in this tournament, I think True has been more impressive. He's barely lost a map, whereas uThermal dropped series. He lost to Game Time, another Zerg, and then he lost to Nurtio. That's another Zerg. So maybe uThermal not really necessarily feeling it so far as much as True, but it's a new day. He's had all night to rest, maybe grab some barbecue and feels better now and is ready to own some people in TVZ, where I spoke with Snoot and he told me all alike, just what you said, that he thinks uThermal's the best foreign Terran. Against Zerg as well. Well,
we can go a little bit more in depth into it in a moment. For now, though, we're going to head over to the stage to get these players ready.
Thank you very much, James. I'm very excited about this next series as it is a matchup of champions. We have the WCS Summer Champion going up against the victor of I Am Shanghai. Please welcome on stage, it is uThermal versus True.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true. As we get into this with uThermal going up against our Korean representative, the only Korean representative in the tournament, really, looking to go forwards as he resides in America for Psystorm Gaming, as you were mentioning. uThermal throughout this tournament so far, boys, has been in a bit of an odd position when it comes up against Zergs, losing out to Nurtio, which is quite understandable.
Yeah,
but I think the wild card of Game Time is something that stands out to us.
Yeah, the Game Time one had me sort of, you know, twisting my head a little bit, squinting and like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But, you know, I didn't get to see the series, so I'm not sure what went down there. I'm sure it was probably on base trade or something like that. But I think that, you know, uThermal also said that he's been saving his better games for later. He's been feeling better as time's been going on. You know, he mentioned on social media, he's like, you know, I'm saving my best games for round 16. He might be all talk, but this guy in history has not been all talk. He's also been a man of action. He's gotten the scalps. He's got the skills to pay the bills. I think this is going to be a very close series.
I think stylistically as well, like we know True as being one of those guys that, you know, back over in WCS Montreal, he was just on point with everything, not just with like the typical aggression that he's known for. Whereas from uThermal, you can expect a lot of drops. If he gets in that position where you're starting to reach, you know, 120 to 150 supply, and it's all about the drops that you're gonna do here and there, he's the best by far that I've seen at just dropping all over the place and stretching the Zerg army out of position, and then eventually finding a big enough hole in the defense of the Zerg that he's gonna start on having some economic damage, and then he's just gonna snowball from that position.
He had a bit of a rougher time, did uThermal, in EU Challenger, but there were ridiculously good series coming out from him there. The one against Snoot really jumps to mind as one of the most amazing series that we've seen in all of Challenger.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a rivalry, him and Snoot. I mean, his TVZ was at one point definitely the best in Europe. You know, he has been pretty great at the other matchups, but TVZ in particular, his splitting macro is unparalleled. And that's an incredibly important skill to have against this kind of player, as someone that does like to go for that tier 2 sort of Ling Bane Muta style, as True like to do. But uThermal is, you know, he's a big believer in bio. He even said to me as a direct quote that it is the unit composition of kings. He doesn't like mech units. He likes marines, he likes mines, and
so
that's that.
Mech is the unit composition of?
Peasants.
Peasants, plebs. Bio is for kings.
We shouldn't really say that.
Innovation might have a thing or two to say about this.
I know.
And Nathanias as well.
Well, I mean, innovation's he probably knows what he's talking about, so maybe I'll just sit down and...
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. All right, so let's talk about True for a moment here, because as much as he did win that WCS in 2016, we haven't seen quite the results of a Korean traversing over to the Western scene, in terms of gaining championship after championship. So we mentioned that True doesn't quite sit on top of the favorites rankings for this tournament. That doesn't feel normal when we're talking like someone about True.
That's because as of late, I think he struggled a little bit more. Like he had a little bit of a Cinderella story where like he moved to the WCS Circuit region later than he would have liked. And then he won the first big tournament that he took part in here over in Montreal. And it's like, wow, okay, I guess that's really impressive. And it's the dream scenario. But then from there, where do you go? Like, is he able to keep that up? No, he was not up until now. Now he could be coming back really strong. If he was to beat uThermal here, he might be one of the favorites to make it to the grand finals, maybe even win the whole thing. Well,
final thoughts, boys, before we go over to this. What do you think about the series?
I'm going to go with my heart here, and I'm thinking that it's going to be a uThermal, but it's going to be a 3-2.
Ooh, 3-2. Okay.
It'll be close. It'll be a nail biter.
I think as long as uThermal doesn't mess up in the early game, lots of drops, lots of drones dying, and a Terran moving on to the next round, which is very rare.
Map score?
3-2.
Well, we're going to be behind schedule even more then. All right, so ladies and gents, thank you for tuning in as we now head over to our commentary team to bring you uThermal going up against True.
Thank you for the great analysis, guys. We are loading in at this very moment, Roddy, to uThermal versus True. This TVZ going to kick off. The onslaught of Zergs has been pushed back quite heavily today in our first couple of matches that have been played out.
Let's be honest, Nate, that's the way it should be. We're always working towards that perfect race distribution of 2-1-1 in the semifinals. Because even if David is not with us anymore, he'd still be proud to see 2 Zergs, 1 Protoss, 1 Terran in the semifinals as we have had so many times. I'm super excited, man. It's been awesome watching some of the best Protoss players in the world, especially this morning, to me as a Protoss player. But Nate, I want to see some fast, action-packed games. I want to see some splits like a god. I want to see my Dutchie in action. And of course, one of the most exciting Zergs that we currently have in the foreign scene, even if he's not a foreigner.
That is right. It's time to kick this off, spawning in the bottom right position of Abyssal Reef. We have the blue Zerg player representing Storm Gaming. He is True.
True is truly kind of a mystery. I mean, every now and then he looks on fire. It looks like he's a god, like he just takes all the bases that are out there, and then suddenly you see him drop series against people you really don't expect him to drop series to.
Yeah, and his opponent in the Northwest, the red Terran player representing Team Liquid. He is uThermal.
May not call him the best foreign Terran. I think it's very hard to disagree with that statement, as he deserves to be called that if you look at his results over the last year. But I do agree as well that this tournament so far, Nate, it hasn't been flawless. He hasn't just been dropping maps. He dropped series, multiple of them. Losing against Nerdjoe, that's all right. And game time, no matter how awesome game time his run was, uThermal is normally not supposed to lose to game time. Now, I do want to say, though, that it seems like most of the Dutchies seem to have had a pretty hard time traveling over to Austin. I mean, I personally have been feeling quite bad for the last 2 days. Fortunately for me, I'm not competing, but Harston was also mentioning how he just felt incredibly off, and I think even Optimus had some issues. So perhaps an extra night of sleep would have done uThermal some justice, and hopefully we're going to see the absolute best of his abilities today.
Yeah, I was able to chat with him a little bit earlier about the series. I was asking him, like, man, like, you got this. You have a good idea of how True plays. And he said, well, it's like, the game time thing actually kind of shook me up a little bit. It's like my TVZs, like, I just got to play my best normal games. Like, I don't want to do anything too out there. I don't want to pull out any of the meme builds in a series like this, because I feel like True is going to take advantage of anything that I do if I try to play too aggressively or too defensively.
Now, obviously, Nate, it's been hard for me to watch all the games of True so far in this tournament because we have so much StarCraft going on at the same time. But that one game I watched of True against Snoot, oh my God, like his macro was just phenomenal. I've never seen a Zerg take that many bases. I think he had like 11, 12 bases, and units were just being streamed across the map. So True did look very good. He's going to be able to pick up a Marine here almost immediately. He won't get a... I won't say cancel, but let's say a snipe on that SCV though. But,
a very unusual way for the game to start. uThermal opting to open without the Reaper. And normally this isn't the worst thing ever, because once you get 4 Marines out with a handful of SCVs, you can deal with this very easily. But what he was looking for was a quick Overlord snipe. He wanted to kill that Overlord that was going to head towards the natural. And True basically said, well, I wanted to circumvent your Reaper. You didn't build a Reaper. It's just a couple of Marines. But since they're out on the map, they're not all together. He's actually able to put himself in a very nice position by forcing those SCVs out, lifting the command center immediately. I mean, this is just an unfortunate way for it to start. It's one of the risks of opening with like a 1 barracks expand type strategy in Legacy of the Void.
Yep, and now all your timings are thrown off a little bit already, because normally you're supposed to have a few more SCVs. The first few mules were supposed to be dropped already on the low ground, so everything has been thrown off a tiny bit. uThermal tries to get a scout off. He won't succeed in doing that either, as that SCV gets picked off immediately. So, so far, this is a pretty successful start for True.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a very rough way for the game to begin for him, as he's going to move the factory over to the reactor. And during all of this, he takes the 3rd base. He's cranking out the drones. uThermal starts the 3rd command center, because if you're a Terran in this position, that's really the only thing that you can do to keep yourself from being buried alive by this rough start. But with the evolution chamber coming in, I don't necessarily think that there's any rush to go for drop play or fast aggression. He could try to do a drop while the Hellions move out. Maybe his plan is, okay, you get 4 or 6 Hellions, you're ready to leave your base. That's when I go for the backstab.
Yeah, but I think it's more likely that True is just going to drone up, right? He's going to have to be relatively pleased with how this went, so it would be worth for him to just keep his eyes open on the other side of the map.
He doesn't need to be aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. If there's no need to be, why take the risk? Why not just try to defend? Scout, identify what you're up against, you know, get a Spore Crawler in each base, get a couple queens, spread a little bit of creep, and just take the game from there. So far, True has created a 7-worker advantage, and he has 7 more drones on the way. So it's safe to say that if he doesn't take that much damage, he's going to be able to play a pretty sweet game.
Yep, and okay, so the Evolution Chamber was for the Carapace opening, which would just make everything a little bit sturdier. I think this says that he's not 100% sure where this game is going to go as far as whether he would need to get melee or ranged upgrades. We do have an armory, so it looks like this game has a trajectory towards a Hellbat Banshee attack. But the Tech Lab is going to go up on the barracks, so we will follow this up with probably getting that stem, 2 engineering bays. But what he really wants to do is rely on True's reputation as being a guy that masses lings. That was actually, you know, this is one of the things I brought up. I'm like, man, a lot of Hellions can deal very well with the way that he plays. And this, since there isn't a Roach Horn yet, there isn't a Baneling Nest, it's possible that what he was hoping for is a little bit more slow now. I'm very interested to see what he does with this moment that he'll have with this many Hellions on the field.
But True has to be a little bit suspicious, right? Because he knows there is a reactor on that factory, and he knows the first Hellions were produced already. If it was just 2 Hellions or 4 Hellions, why didn't he see them yet? So normally you'd say that True is supposed to expect this, as the first Cloak Banshee is showing up in the back of the natural. But let's take a look at all these Hellions. If these Hellions can morph into Hellbats without lings and queens on top of them, this could actually be very, very tricky for True to deal with.
I do love this so much, because he does not have anything other than that building spire to deal with this. This is pretty much exactly what I was talking about before this game. I'm like, man, he just relies on lings so much. This big of a Hellbat attack has the opportunity to get a lot done, but with this many queens, forcing him to spread back, I feel like he's got to try to get them on the drones.
Yeah, exactly. There are a couple of Hellbats that really should have been in the mineral line already. Instead, they were shooting at the hatchery. So far, the micro is excellent, though, by True, doing a really good job and keeping all of his queens alive. Now the lings get the wraparound. He did end up losing 9 or 10 drones, but I feel this could have been a lot worse if these Hellions would have gone for the mineral line immediately, rather than shooting at the hatchery, because look how much damage the hatchery took at the 3rd base.
I think in a situation like this, if you can just, you hold position your Hellbats between like the mineral patch and the hatchery, and you just make sure that you at least kill that base, you know, force the drones to move away. There's a lot of opportunity with an attack like that, and even though you kill those drones, we just go back to the part where he lost a lot at the start, and now he's going to lose SCVs.
Very nice counterattack here by True. Once again, the micro on the Queens was phenomenal, though. That was truly beautiful how he did it. Just put them all back. He kept shooting, kept moving them back. Eventually had enough energy for a couple of transfusions, and the moment he felt like, okay, now my link should go, he just went for it. Beautiful hold by True, and it's safe to say that uThermal's in a lot of trouble, as it almost feels like nothing has truly gone his way so far in this game.
No, just the insane amount of queens that was there to defend against that big Hellbat attack. He has the Banshee to defend here. Stim is about to finish up, but he has to deal with this Overlord as well, and the Mutalisk is going to be out so damn fast.
There is Stim, but there is no combat shield, so you don't want to Stim too many times. This is going to be tricky, man. There's not that many medevacts yet either.
And now you enter True's world, which is, okay, you're building Marines. I'm going to have a lot of Zerglings because I had that third base so fast. The Baneling Nest is just now beginning. He's taking another expansion, and I imagine we're going to see him swell up with Baneling speed, do Muta Harass, and when he can get that Baneling speed and push towards a big 160 supply push, he could just try to attack him.
Yeah, that moment you see the macro hatchery going up in the main base, you know what time it is. This is the time of the game that True absolutely loves. And in general, where he shines his bell, he finds this exposed mineral line. He's going to be able to get a handful of SCVs almost immediately and shouldn't really lose anything in the process. This is well done, and this is just a rough game for uThermal. If you take a look at uThermal's map vision, just to see what he sees, you can see that he almost has no map presence whatsoever, other than that one Banshee that's obviously gonna die. And that's just very annoying, Nate. How is he supposed to figure out where these attacks are coming from?
Yeah, without the missile turrets, without anything that can actually push these Mutalisks away, he takes a lot of damage at the same time. The bunker here is nice. He has the Marines. He must protect those mules. This game is going to come down to some very important Widowmine shots, I feel, because True's macro is one thing that we know him to not really screw up very often. So you need the big engagements. You need those mines to get some amazing splash hits. I think back to Major's comeback that he just had versus IA earlier today. And let those mules keep mining.
The income is
there are a lot of them.
Yeah, he's been saving up a little bit, but maybe the moment that 2-2 kicks in, obviously True is not the type of Zerg that rushes into Hive immediately. There are a couple of mines there, and they do get one big connection immediately. Oh my god, so many low HP Mutalisks. Can uThermal pick off a couple of them?
If he had been able to repair that missile turret just a bit longer, he'd be one-tapping these bad boys.
That was still a lot of Mutas, though, that went down there. 7.
Yeah, he got a good bit of damage on the rest of them. That, if he had been able to somehow clear all those out, that's where this gets crazy. I like that he brought the that SCV though.
Without Baneling speed, maybe there is a window of opportunity here for uThermal to do something.
It's going to be very tight though. There's so much here.
What can I say, Nate? Us Dutchies, we love it close. We'll always try to squeeze by.
This has definitely been a very rough start for the Dutch Terran player. He has 2-2 coming in though, so upgrade-wise everything is okay. The biggest issue that he's going to have is right now he wants to attack, and True is just so good at dealing with these. He has so many links, so many Banelings. If he's able to swallow up and destroy this Terran army, I don't know how uThermal stops the counterattack.
I like the multiple missile turrets, though. It's going to make it a little harder for these Mutas to be effective, and also gives uThermal an idea of where these Banelings are coming from. 17 more Banelings are morphing. There are quite a few Widow mines out there, but I'm not sure if it's enough. This one mine does not get a shot off. I mean, uThermal was actually doing a pretty good job in fighting his way back into it. As long as True doesn't have a Hive on the way, you'd normally say the dream is very much so alive for uThermal.
Yeah, True, without the Hive, he is playing this style where he wants to just completely overrun. There's only one Marine in this bunker, so that will not stop this attack. The Banelings could have ran straight towards the mineral line. They did not end up going that way, so he's able to save a good amount of the SCVs. The Zerglings did get on top of them, but he's got his Marines here to defend. He's going for the low ground positioning here as well. The biggest thing he needs to worry about is just keep the Marines spread out, avoid those Banelings, but everything's coming crashing back to grab uThermal's forces in the northeast.
Oh my god, there's a lot of Zerg coming in from every angle, and that was just a little too much to deal with. Even though uThermal has 3 upgrades on the way, he's suddenly down 40-50 army supply. Taking a look at the Widow mine count, there are still 6 mines out there, but without a 4th command center, it's safe to say that uThermal needs to start getting much better trades than he's been getting so far.
This is as dicey as it gets, Kev. +2 melee has only just started, but the upgrades for the attack don't even matter as much when you're relying on this many Banelings to hit the army. All those lings are just fodder. The Mutas can come up and still keep poking away at the economy of uThermal. In a fourth, the idea of a fourth base is nothing but a bitter memory at this point.
Would you recommend uThermal to just sit back for a little bit, try to get those 3-3 upgrades up, and then go for one final push, but don't try to lose too many units up to that point?
I mean, I want to say maybe, because I don't think you can attack True right now. The 3-3 is one of your saving graces in this scenario, but that would also be a fourth base. And the only reason why I think you might be able to get away with it. These Banelings just doing insane damage, forcing the lift off. I mean, that's most of the economy right there for uThermal. But the big problem is, if you want to play past this point, you need a fourth base. And without having an actual fourth, floating an orbital out there, we know that, well, look at what we just saw. You know, without a planetary fortress, those Ling run-bys are never going to stop. So he's going to float out, but you can't realistically beat an army like this without like 160 supply, and that is including a lot of Widow Mines getting very juicy connections onto Banelings.
I was about to say, aren't you shocked that True doesn't have a fifth yet? But he does. It's on the low ground there. All the blues just absorbed by each other on the minimap. But with this base up and running as well, True basically has 5 bases, and obviously he can transfer a couple of these runs as well. Once again, uThermal has no map vision at all on this side of the map, so that makes it very hard to react in time against these run-bys of Zerglings, Banelings, and a bunch of Mutalisks as well.
Yep, and with that many Mutalisks, he's also mopping up all of the medevacs in between these fights. Look at all these Marines. Poor guys are all bleeding out.
I mean, it's just a battle of map vision, right? Map vision is everything in a game of StarCraft 2. And if you take a look at uThermal's vision, there is nothing he sees. He has no map presence whatsoever. Feels like you're playing one of those awful campaign missions, Nate, where you know the swarm is coming from every angle and you're just supposed to survive a little bit longer.
And he has all of his Widow Mines in like that one area where it's like, yes, please, for the love of God, come straight through here.
With everything,
nice.
with everything.
Bring it all. Just clump it up into one hex, stack all your Mutalisks like your Jaedong or something, and just let them all die.
Try to be that cool guy that morphs like 87 Banelings and then, you know.
But it's not happening. He's very intelligently going around. He's taking the long way, saying, yeah, I can hit your engineering base from here. I mean, he's got the upgrades, so not as big of a factor at this point in the game, but losing those add-ons, the medevacs have been killed. Oh, goodness gracious, the mine at the bottom of the main base, just 4. Okay.
He just went from 23 Mutalisks to 7, Nate. That was 16 dead Muta.
Nice. Well, he's going straight back into Lings from this point. 60 on the way.
Now with those 3-3 upgrades, though, I mean, Lings are fantastic. Widow Mines! Oh, the other mine with the Dream. No, it missed. Oh, my God.
Well, this is the one way that you're able to try to do it. He's got a lot of Marines, but the Banes are coming here with all the Lings. And even with the upgrade advantage, there's just not enough to actually kill all of this. The reinforcements are rallying down. There's not enough Munis to snipe the base, which is nice, but there's not enough Widow Mines to deal with these Banelings if he chooses to.
The other mine is still there, though. The one mine is still there. It's not going to connect with the Banelings. That's the big problem. Decent splits there by uThermal. He still has a couple of Marines, but
he's trying to focus down the main command center now at that 4th base, but he doesn't have the Mutalisk firepower to clean it out. He's at 27 SCVs, and True just double expanded.
Yep, he just took his 6th and his 7th base at once. Why not? He's still got 75 drones. uThermal only with 27 SCVs remaining. It's safe to say that the only thing he can do is just drop a couple mules, try to get a few more Marines out, and start doing something about this ridiculous economy on the other side of the map of True. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how big these Widow Mine shots are.
That was another nice one.
It was a nice one, but look at the economies. Like, True can actually do this for days.
Yep, the trades are well for uThermal, but it's just not enough, or it's too little too late. He has so much to cut through in this Zerg safari, as it were, if he wants to actually get to the heart of the swarm.
If you take a look at the units lost resources, this is a typical True game. He lost 7,000 resources more, but it doesn't matter because he's been mining 12,000 more easily. So it's okay for him to take these slightly ineffective fights, but in the end, it's super supply effective because he can actually replace the units he's losing, and uThermal cannot.
Yeah, it's very frustrating as a Terran in this situation. You've got the army that you want composition-wise, but you just cannot keep the economy going long enough to hit that sweet spot in terms of supply. And I mean, I'm looking at the supply, Kev. He can't break 100 right now.
This is just a frustrating game, right? Because you don't want to leave because you know you have 3 upgrades on your Marines, and you have a bunch of Widow Mines and a Dream. On the other end, this is also a very frustrating game to play for uThermal. It's just like, God.
Yeah, in a weird Terran heaven, you know, all the Banelings die to 1 Widow Mine. Your Marines kill all the Lings because they have the upgrade advantage, and then they kill the Mutas, and you march back across the map, and you kill another wave of Lings, and you win. But now the Hive is done. Adrenal glands are on the way, and that means we'll soon have those 3-3 upgrades begin for True, and he will say, I will finally get the hammer to drive this nail through your heart.
True's actually been doing a really good job in keeping his money low throughout the entirety of this game, despite having a few more Banelings going to roll in. There's plenty of mines here. So once again, this doesn't... Woo, the orbital. I want to say it doesn't do that much. Almost killed the orbital. Yeah.
And he's just taking the rest of the bases. No big deal. +3 Carapace is on the way as he sends another fleet to the right side. And Mutalisk's dancing around, hoping that there's not 4 random Widow Mines to kill all of them like last time.
I mean, he's lost a ridiculous amount of mutas in this game. But it's all right, because True has been so rich.
It's all about the dinero, Roddy. He's got the money, the moolah. He can rebuild this for decades. And uThermal's still just fighting hand over fist for this 4th that he has to just keep lifting off and landing again.
True's even taking an 8th base. I feel like he's just having fun right now. He's just warming up. He's like, I love playing games like this. He's like, I know I've won, but I'm going to drag this out a little further. I'm going to beat my opponent down. I'm going to make this such a convincing victory that it feels like I'm up 2-0 after a single game in this best of 5.
Yep, the Banes run in, gets a solid mine hit on him, but the command center is dead from that AoE. The Mutalisk's help to finish it off.
9.
Adrenal Glands is done.
9 bases right now, Nate.
Versus 1 command center for uThermal.
Who do you think is leading?
I don't know, Kev. It's not looking all that good.
Truly is. And I think uThermal has finally had enough of this game after losing that overthrow as well. He's going to step on creep. He's going to eat a couple of these Baneling shots. He's going to make a last-ditch effort, but he knows.
GG. True takes game number 1.
In very True-like fashion, I'd say.
Yeah.
A lot of Zerglings, a lot of Banelings, and a lot of Mutalisks.
You think back to that opening, though, with the 1 barracks expand, things got really dicey for uThermal very early on in that game, just on the premise of him losing those first 4 Marines. His natural was lifted very early. I like the 1 racks expand versus Zerg, but if you want to move the Marines out, that's one of the reasons why SCV scouting is not that bad of a move, because it gives you enough, it gives you the information that you need since you aren't sending a Reaper. And not having that is why he lost his Marines. It's why he got pushed back and why everything that he wanted to do was delayed, why True took that 3rd base so fast. And I still want to say that I did really like the Hellbat push. That was exactly the kind of thing I was saying. I'm like, this sort of stuff works very well against him. He doesn't build anything other than Lings early on. He exploited that, and it was just Queens, but he let most of the Hellbats just get kited by the Queens all the way to the natural.
Yep. I mean, the micro was excellent by True. Absolutely not trying to take anything away from him, but it just felt there was more potential there in that
I feel like he could have got a lot more done with that attack, and I still think that it was a very well-chosen attack by uThermal. I wouldn't knock that build choice at all.
It's time for uThermal to forget about game number 1, as game number 2 is going to be played on Cactus Valley. Obviously a very different map than Abyssal, as it's a 4-player map. There's going to be different spawns, much bigger chance. We're going to see him open up with a Reaper and just see if he can actually get something going for himself. Because I feel like the moment that the Hellbat attack failed, I feel like that was the last time that uThermal was able to be aggressive for that entire game.
Yep.
He was just not allowed to move out. He had no map vision. He had no map presence. Every time he stepped on creep, I mean, he tried to make that missile turret push, but at that point, there was just way too much swarm already.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. This guy in the top right, however, took a very convincing game number 1, representing Psystorm Gaming. He is True.
Always a fun Zerg to watch, Nate. Whether you play Zerg or not, you gotta admire the way that he plays Zerg. Just take a ridiculous amount of bases and make a stupid amount of Zerglings.
Yes, indeed. His opponent in the bottom left spawned the Red Terran player representing Team Liquid. He's uThermal.
One of the last 2 Liquid players remaining in this tournament. Snoot is, of course, still alive as well on the bottom side of this.
Does that sign say decrease bunker build time?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's ship it. Let's go. Let's get it done.
I would like to have -5 minerals on Carrier Interceptor as well, though.
That's fine. Can't kill them anyway. All right, so cross spawn Cactus Valley. You've got a long way to go to hit your opponent. I think this is a very, I want to already say, nice spot for True to be in. Any of the other spawns make it much easier to get a direct drop path. A very direct rush path with anything like that Banshee or Raven Harass, which we've still seen a lot of Special did quite a bit of Raven Harass in his games earlier today. I know that uThermal is not, he's not too shy to do those sorts of things. I've seen him bust it out.
Are you starting to have a deja vu feeling of DreamHack Montreal last year, where True just seems to keep on winning? He just keeps on massing units, and
this
it seems
is the
like
only Zerg versus Terran I've seen him play.
Okay.
But when I think back to Montreal, I think about him just ripping all the Terran players apart with these mass Ling Bane styles. And I think back to Hero Marine doing like that one Hellion build and just destroying it, and then immediately just went right back to normal Marines and getting wrecked for the rest of the series. But
I don't know. It seems like True is in pretty damn good shape. He obviously recently won the Storm Gaming Cup. Now you can say that's not the same as winning a WCS Austin, obviously. But it seems like he's in all right shape. It's so funny.
His style is very, very hard to do if you play Zerg. If you want to just throw Lings and Banes around the map, you know, if you ask a normal Zerg player, they're like, yeah, well, Terrans just have Widow Mines everywhere. And you just do this, and you lose your whole army in an instant, and it sucks. But True is just so on top of the ball. He does not eat those shots. Or in the case of the last game, by the time he was eating those Widow Mine shots, he was so far ahead it didn't even matter. I think you said, what was he, behind? He was behind like 8,000 resources lost, right? And still ahead 100 supply.
Yep. Well, yeah, it was like 6,000 or 7,000. But it was the same against Snoot. I think against Snoot at one point he lost like 11 or 12,000 more because he just kept running everything into lurkers. But it was all right because even though he lost his entire army over and over and over again, he kept killing the bases as well. And yeah, it's a really fun way to play Zerg. It's fun to watch him for sure. I still don't think that this True is necessarily a favorite to take the entire tournament. But if he takes out uThermal here, then obviously we're going to have to start considering him as one of the top candidates to perhaps steal the title here, because then it's quarter-final time already for True.
Yeah, he's getting a very nice run going here so far. I do like that our Dutch Terran is still opening up with the Hellions. I think that True has, while he may be capable of doing some sort of Ravager Rush or something else, he is definitely most comfortable when he is just running Lings all over. Unfortunately, his Reaper and Hellions don't spot that drone going out to the third base, so he's going to see that it's just started. He could poke away at it if he wants, but what he really wants to do is get that medevac over and elevator those Hellions into the main base, which could go very well for him, considering that last game True didn't build a crazy amount of Lings because of these Hellions. Oh, did he? Yeah, he boosted the medevac around to the side to make sure it wouldn't be spotted.
This is going to be a little bit annoying though, because there isn't much left right now in the natural of uThermal. Yep. True has a couple of Zerglings on the left side. I know it isn't much, but if you don't have a single Marine in your natural, that's actually going to be very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, the follow-up is Cloak Banshees. I think uThermal also recognizes that he had a lot of potential to do a lot more with his attack in the last game. So sends two Hellions and the Reaper to the right side, sends the drop to the main. Look at the main base of True. He has no vision. There's no Overlord. There's nothing. Zip, not a zero to spot this medevac and the Hellions that are coming with it. So he'll be able to unload with no problem. And without the creep spread at the end of his main, the Hellions should be able to run straight back in. They're going to go towards the main now. 3 drones immediately picked off straight up to 7 kills. And a very nice Hellion drop for uThermal. Anyone want some barbecue?
Yep, and these Lings, they finally showed up, but that was just way too late, because by now 2 extra Hellions did pop, 15 drones went down, and this hatchery is going to take a little bit of damage as well. There are so many drones here in the natural, so uThermal ain't done yet. He's loving that Texas barbecue nade, and it's so funny, because if True would watch this replay, he had roughly 25 seconds to send those 7 Zerglings into a completely exposed Terra Natural, but he waited and he waited until the Hellion showed up in his main. But by then uThermal had 2 extra Hellions and actually were able to deal with it. So it's funny how that went. How funny how that played out, because that could have gone so different.
What a disgustingly effective attack. And now he has the Banshee with the Cloak. Or maybe he canceled the Cloak? No, he still has it. Just didn't use it yet. Okay. Almost lost it, but now he is with the medevac. He can turn him into Hellbats. He's going to try to crash down on this third, which he's already picked off about half the health of. So another phenomenal push forward. He's got the double engineering bay on the way behind this. Only thing I'm waiting to see on the production tab is Stim so that he can lock this one in. And he's got a very clear path to victory if he just keeps up this pressure.
Unfortunately, the Banshee died in the main, which is kind of unfortunate because there was only a single spore here. And I actually think if he would have had the Banshee here, there's a good chance he would have been able to pick up these Queens a lot easier. These Helmets still doing a pretty good job though. The Queen count nowhere near as high as it was in the previous game. A couple of Lings are going to show up. That's not enough yet to just clean this up. Imagine, Nate, if this Banshee was with his Helmet push.
It could have been a lot better. But I still think, all things said and done, he's got this other Banshee to go for the further harass. The lair has only just now begun. We have a Raven that's going to be able to harass all game long, help deny creep. And I just love that he built so many Hellions. Against a player like True, if you want to play bio, that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But play with the Hellions early on, keep that map presence.
It's so funny. There's a little drop alert. Let's take a look at the natural of uThermal real quick, as even though these Hellions, True is like, well, if you got nothing there, I'm just gonna morph one overlord right in your face into a drop alert. And I'm gonna lift these Turklings over these supply depots. He's doing a little bit of damage, but obviously he's losing more drones at home.
Yeah, these Hellions tried to get into a good spot. There were a lot of exposed drones, but he wasn't able to get too much. The Banshee up to 3 kills in the main base of True. Brings out the Raven, drops that auto turret, and those, we all know auto turrets do insane damage. So he's able to clear out these Lings. That he has, the Overlord's still there though. More Lings are coming. He doesn't have enough to actually stop this. He could just keep elevatoring all day.
That's the funniest drop alert I've seen, just like this.
I've not seen this before.
No, I've never seen it. That's why I thought it was so funny. In the end, these depots are going to fall. Are there a couple of Hellions at home? It's just 2 Hellbats, but they're not here yet.
And one of them is a little bit injured. He's got to be careful. He's watching the front door. Okay, so he blocks these Lings out.
One of the E-bases is going to fall here on the north side.
That's +1 armor, so close to finishing.
Oh, that's a very rough loss there. I mean,
what
these
a
Lings,
gnarly counterattack.
the type of attack that's never supposed to work at all, and is somehow doing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, this is one of those, like, that just, no, it just doesn't happen. And that one Ling and the Overlord's just like, you think you're safe.
That's ridiculous. That one drop alert just completely changed his entire game, because things were going fantastic.
I was going to say, he had this in the bag, but, ooh. What a nuts game. What a crazy game. Now he's going to go straight to that 4th base, get the Baneling Nest.
And look at the work account suddenly. Obviously, uThermal was so busy with defending that he couldn't really focus on attacking that much anymore on the other side of the map. So I assume that the Hellions and the Hellbats, they just got cleaned up. That one bench probably got picked up as well. And suddenly you're looking at 73 drones. Obviously, the layer is a little late.
God.
It's going to morph them into Banelings, eh? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, if he's using Hellbats to defend, I don't mind that at all, too. Drop the Banelings.
Oh. This normally only happens in PvZ, Nate. He's going to go for a double Baneling drop. Okay. I have not seen this that often in this matchup, but I like where this is going, Nate.
This series, very, very, very weird. But there it is. And 3 Banelings, 2 Lings. If he brings those Hellbats, those Marines over, he just drops straight onto those. That could do a lot. At the very least, he's going to get quite a few of these SCVs and Mules. There we go. So that's 2 Banelings in the Overlord.
Good reaction time, though. A couple of Marines in the main base as well. Is uThermal paying attention? He is, in the end. God, good job. The Marines are going to be able to take care of this. And I guess that's why we don't see that often in TVZ, Nate.
Yep. The ability to kill air units as easily as Marines can definitely helps a lot with dealing with these types of attacks. But +2 Carapace is on the way. Baneling speed is almost done. And uThermal, while he should have had his 2-2 well underway, because he lost that engineering bay and took so much damage, he just hasn't even started it. His armory's like just finishing up, I think, but he doesn't even have 2-2 on the way yet.
A couple of Lings over here on the south side are going to try to run into this middle line and be annoying as well. Should be able to get a couple of SUVs before uThermal is going to usher these Lings out. But still, it's just nice play by True. He's always aggressive. See if uThermal can get something done with maybe some auto turrets here. He's going to be able to drop 2 of them. 3 even. The Queen gets picked up as well, so maybe the Banshee can find a small opening.
Yeah, without the Spore Crawler, I think focusing on the Queen is definitely a smart move, since that opens up the Banshee to force the rest of these drones away. He denies any mining on this 4th for quite some time, but hey, the Mutalisks are coming out. There is an Overseer here, and there are Spores at the base, so that's about all she wrote for the Banshee.
Yeah. I mean, he got a little bit of damage done and got a little bit of value out of it. And that extractor ain't gonna fall. With 2 upgrades on the way, I mean, uThermal has done a decent job in recovering when it comes down to the upgrades. Let's not forget that he lost that engineering bay early on. That obviously slowed everything down quite a bit. But he does have +1 attack and +1 armor now. And perhaps he still might be able to find a window of opportunity where he can at least fight with a small upgrade advantage.
Yeah, in a scenario like this, okay, so he's getting the 2nd factory, and I think that's a very important move. You want as many Widow Mines as you can get. Some players like to add in Thors with this, but I think the most important thing is that you get the Drilling Claws upgrades, that you can reposition those mines very quickly. And just, the mines worked incredibly well from last game. Set yourself up, put yourself in a position where you can get even more.
What I really liked is that he set up multiple traps, right? Where there was like 1 mine, and then True kind of thought like, oh, okay, I ate a mine shot there, but that's all right. Then he flew further, and then suddenly there's the double mine shot there. I loved it, and a couple of times uThermal got some great hits off. At one moment, the Muda count fell from 24 to like 7, so that was massive.
The secret Terran technique that they don't tell you in the Pig Daily is random Widow Mines are sometimes the best.
Yeah.
Just take 3, put them some random spot they might go over eventually.
No, because normally when you send Mudas to the other side of the map, you don't start looking at the Mudas until they get close to enemy territory.
Exactly.
You don't follow your Mudas from your side of the map all the way to the other side of the map, because if you do that,
not at this league.
Then what are you doing at home? You know, then there is just
you're
nothing.
Not injecting, you're not spreading your creep. No, so you tell your units to go somewhere, and then there's just 4 Widow Mines out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no, you're spot on.
Look at how he's got it between the starport and the factory. Look at this. Look at this cheeky.
4 of them. There's a Raven that's quite exposed in the middle of the map.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this Raven did not die yet. Well, it did.
Rest in peace.
There's a couple of mines over here as well. True spots them. The mine does not get a shot off. Good job there by True, stacking those Mudas, getting that shot off immediately. I mean, once again, what I hate about this position for uThermal is, like, obviously I know there is not much he could do after he lost all these SCVs, but just take a look at the vision of uThermal. I don't like playing StarCraft like this, and I don't think anybody likes playing StarCraft like this. He sees nothing, Nate. He only sees like his tiny corner of the map, and other than that, there is not a random mine anywhere. There's not a single Marine. There is not an SCV patrolling. He just has no eyes on the map, and that's a very uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah, he's in a very weird spot. That is so many Banelings. Good God.
How many Banes does he have? He's got 80, Nate.
80 Banelings. Well, okay, knocks the bunker down, no problem. Widowmine takes out a little bit of a chunk there. He's got the Thor here. Oh, if he dives, okay. I was going to say, some people try to dive on the Thor, but he does have 2 Widow Mines burn underneath it. That could spell catastrophe.
I have the feeling we're going to see some great Widow Mine connections in this game, because I feel that uThermal is not relying on 1 or 2 Widow Mine traps, but he's got multiple.
You just need to go just full Field of Dreams on this, and just mines everywhere.
Oh, this is nice.
Great counterattack towards the north side. You can pick off a few drones, get the spine, get this hatchery. Finally able to strike back is uThermal. Just needs to be very cautious, but this is where those Widow Mines get the cash money hit on the Mutas and the Banes. Just, still gets a lot of the SCVs, but he cleaned up a lot of those Banelings.
Yep, and good news for uThermal is that he actually kept quite a few SCVs alive. I mean, he lost 13 of them, but he still got 45. And once you have your infrastructure set...
landing the 4th, such a big deal.
Yep. Once you have the infrastructure set and you have 3 upgrades, having like 45 SCVs is actually not that bad. Obviously, early on, when you don't have all those things yet, then you need more. But having 45 right now, it's honestly not that bad, especially not with all these mules. So this suddenly became quite a playable game for uThermal, and more importantly, he still has plenty of those Widow Mine traps around as well.
Yep, just gotta put the mines everywhere, and that is the #1 way to play against this sort of massling, mass Bane style. He's got the Thors as well, holding the fort down, all these Widow Mines. Keep rebuilding the wall, just stand strong, get to that 200 supply mark, and make the most of it. However, the Hive is much earlier this game, Kev. We have Adrenal Glands already finishing. It's just now completed for True. His Lings are going to bite a little bit tougher as the Mutalisks chase back towards the 4th. We do have that Planetary Fortress.
That's going to help a little bit, but the Banelings will just come rolling in, and this Planetary is going to get blown up almost immediately. So much for this 4th base that we were hyping up, that we thought was good news for our Terran. One of the 2 last remaining Terrans in this tournament.
It's tough because the Widow Mines aren't there. Like, if we look at the how many mines are on the map right now? He's got 11. And most of them are set up inside of his main base and by the 3rd. I think he has 1 or 2 in the pathway between, but there were no mines at that planetary to help protect. I think if you put a few to the north of that fortress, then you have the chance of getting that cash money hit on the Banes, because a lot of Zerg players will look at that and be like, okay, you want to build a planetary? Sure thing. I've got more than enough Banelings because of this income advantage.
I do feel for the first time in this series, though, uThermal's army supply is actually bigger. We're looking at 132. That's a crazy Terran army.
He said that he's in the best position he's been in this series so far right now, I would say.
And that's funny because he just lost his 4th base.
Yep.
So that's not normally something we'd say.
When you're okay with losing your 4th, you know that you've been in some dark places.
There's no other way to put it. Once again, at the moment this 4th base has been landed, it's going to be under siege here from all these Zerglings and Banelings rolling forward. I really like the fact that he contaminated this orbital as well.
Flying orbital. And I remember in the Wings of Liberty beta that used to keep it from flying.
Yes.
The dream. But these Mutas are going to go through. Okay, so this is that money moment he's waiting for.
Oh,
because he had to fly
in the factory
over the production.
Yes, the Marine.
And
he saw it.
Man, that was the longest build up to nothing Oh, well, it almost was really awesome. And the mutas are going to make their way out.
All game long, he left like 2 Marines there that I think...
He's pushing the cattle back into the...
The Overseer is going to reveal it.
He's got to know. He's got to know that they're there, yeah. I do like this storm.
The Marine was like, hey guys, over here.
Kill me, over here.
Kill me, I've got a gun. You should totally take care of me.
See, I like these mines, though. He's got just a couple of these spaced out. He is moving a little bit into the Infestor tech. We do have chitinous plating on the way, so his Ultralisk is going to get a little bit more buff.
107 Zergling currently out on the map, 47 banelings.
That is a sign that you are watching a true game.
Yep. And during all of this madness, True has taken that base on the right bottom side of the map as well. And he's actually mining from it. He has saturated it. And now he's gonna take this base too. True just takes a ridiculous amount of bases in every single game we see that ends up in this phase. And once again, he's probably not gonna get the absolute best fight here, but he's just got so many units.
Yep, the Baneling count's been insane, and he goes to this counter at the same time towards the left side. That main command center that was floated over. These units taking big hits. And the Widow Mine maybe gets the Infestor, but the Banelings are going to clear out the mines. However, he's made his way to the southeast base. There's not much here, 30 Banelings, but they're all by the third.
Wow, that's actually kind of ballsy here by True, having all these Banelings on the other side of the map. How is he going to stop this Terran force? How's the medevac count? 9, Nate, so there is plenty of sustainability in this
push. He has 26 Banelings at the moment, and is he just building Lings behind this to try and reset?
It's actually super important that he has those medevacs still around, so he can actually keep on stimming, keep on moving forward. The only thing that's a little dicey for uThermal is that he has no idea which direction these units are coming from.
Yep, he's plunged very deep. There's quite a few of the Banelings to the right. I love this. Leaves the Marauders up front. He needs to save some of these forces. He can't lose everything.
Oh my god. Where's all this Zerg coming from, Nate? It's like an animation trailer we're watching. There's Banelings coming in from every angle, and once again, this Terran army that looked so strong, so mighty, just got cleaned up like it's almost nothing.
True just has too much income. He still has that base in the tip top of the map. He still has that bottom right expansion that has completed.
There was this one moment where the Mule Dream was alive. That was that moment to buy and sell immediately. That's the stock market right there. You missed an opportunity, sir. Like, you could have...
There was that one brief moment where the uThermal stock was pretty good. 7 Infestors. He had a huge gas bank. I like this. Now he's like, okay, just send the 1 Ling ahead, and surely there can't be too much else to deal with this, but...
And yeah, True is like, I've got so much gas. Why not? Why not make these Infestors? You know, even if I just start fungling a bunch of Widow Mines, even that is all right.
Mind control, you know, the Widow Mines, all that jazz. Whatever you want to do at this point. He's just got so much money coming in. uThermal had a lot of things that went really nicely this game, but I still think back to putting a couple of mines by the Planetary Fortress. Those 4 mines at the Starport and Factory had the potential to be game-winning if they had hit those mutas at any point in the mid-game, but now...
True just never went for it, right?
Now all I can say is I really wish those 4 mines had been somewhere else during this game. If they had been by the 4th base, that, you know, maybe those 30 Banelings don't crash straight into the Planetary, and it's a completely different makeup of the game right now.
I guess uThermal just felt that there's no way that True was rich enough to crash that many Banelings into a Planetary, and even if he would decide in doing so, then maybe uThermal felt that he could just counterattack and win the game, but you know, neither of that was the case. True was rich enough.
Now the Ultras are coming out, though, and he has the Infestors already, so you drop that Fungal, Ultras and Banes get on top of your bio, and you are dead. This once again becomes a question of, could he still get Miracle Widow Mine hits that kill everything so that his whole entire army can focus on killing the Ultras one at a time? Survey says unlikely.
Next game is going to be played on Belshire Vestige, which is I mean, I think a map that True is also quite okay with. There is multiple attack paths, even though you could say that maybe once you have the 3-base setup, getting that fort becomes a little bit easier for a Terran. But it's also not exactly the dream.
Yeah.
This medevac on the bottom side of the map gets shot down as well. Doesn't really get anything done. And the top side it gets shot down. I mean, True has weathered the storm once again. There is no other way to put it. And now he's in the driver's seat. He's up 30-40 army supply. He's rich. uThermal is not. And, well, I have no idea how uThermal can even dream about taking a 5th.
Nope. Just trying to rebuild, and True is going to constantly try to keep this pressure up as much as possible. Pull the army to the right side, pull the army to the top, and just keep remembering that there's no Planetary Fortress, there's no secure position that's easy to hold. even with these mines here, I'm actually still worried that if a couple Banelings just take the fight anyway, they might be able to just focus down this command center.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite low on HP, so he's going to lift it for a split second there. A couple of Infestors move forward as well. And here come the Ultras.
Uh-oh, the Infestors are going to burrow and move forward, dropping the first fungal growths onto this army. And there's just way too many Ultras to plow through this with the fungal growth behind. He actually gets a flank Infestor at the same time. And you can see it's just... There's just too many Ultralisks. The command center's down. GG True goes up 2-0 against uThermal. And look at that. Look at that look on his face.
He's loving it, man. That is the look of a man that is truly enjoying the way that he's playing StarCraft at the moment. And that's the way he loves to play. I mean, we know it. He loves to take all these bases. He loves to just mass Lings and Banelings. And he takes all these fights that you think are questionable. But because he's trading and expanding behind it and always securing extra bases, he leaves no time for his opponent to even think about attacking. And that's the way he's pulling further and further ahead in these games. It's definitely a very entertaining Zerg style to watch.
Yeah, let's hear what the boys at the desk had to say about this match so far.
Thank you very much, Nathanius and Rotterdam. Indeed, it looks like True 2-0 up currently. Yeah. Really rendering a lot of uThermal's attempts at tricks with Widow Mines and even a lot of his compositions pretty obsolete.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned at the start of the series that True likes this style. He chills until tier 2 for quite a while. I mean, uThermal is getting swarmed literally and figuratively right now. Yeah. And he's having a rough time with it. I mean, all the drop play that he loves to do is getting shot down. Like, I mean, that second game started really well for him. He got a ton of drones killed with those Hellions, but from there on, like, if the Zerg can counterattack with something like drop overlord play, which is really cheeky and cool, you know, it reset the playing field, and he got to dictate it from then on, I feel.
This looks familiar, you know, like it almost has me reminiscing of WCS Montreal. I completely count True out, and I think he's going to lose the series, and then he just smashes people. Yeah. That's what happened last time in Canada, and this time around, it looks like that's what's happening again. He's looking super scary, and for uThermal to come back from there, it's going to be real difficult because True is just playing so well.
You agree, Maynard?
I mean, it definitely looks like how one-sided those two games were. That well, not actually one-sided. I think game 2 was quite close at a couple points there. Yeah. But it looks like True's going to take the series for sure. He's really inside uThermal's head right now. But I mean, that's what I thought about Namshar Showtime as well. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, the series ain't over till it's over. I think uThermal, you know, he has more tricks up his sleeve than just the one. So hopefully he pulls it together and gets more maps here, but it is certainly looking strong for True.
We had another series going on while that was happening, Todd. We had Nurture going up against Jon Snow, correct?
Yeah, that was a 3-0, and I mean, I don't know any better way to say it. Nurture was just better the whole way. He defended everything he needed to defend. And even in the one game where Jon Snow was able to somehow catch back up in Supla, get a little bit ahead in that. Not even enough, you know, Nurture just caught back up, made his own roaches, had better moves the whole way. So I think Jon Snow's pretty good as well. It's just that Nurture is on a whole other level right now, and he's one of the favorites, so he's just going to advance comfortably into the quarterfinals.
6 out of the 8 so far, looking absolutely all-star, as we are ready to go back into game number 3 here between True and uThermal to see who advances on.
And we are back ready to get into game number 3 of this best of 5. Can the Dutch pride uThermal bring this series back, or will True advance forward with a 3-0? It's been quite a series. Kev uThermal has tried to mix it up a bit here and there. We saw him get an insane amount of worker kills at the start of game 2, but just wasn't able to bring it home.
I mean, I almost forgot about that silly elevator we just saw. I mean, and that drop alert was more like a trampoline for these Lings to just hop over all those supply depots. And that just did so much more damage than it ever should have done. While it felt like early on everything was going uThermal's way. I mean, there's a very good chance that uThermal at least gets a point on the board here on Belshire, but you know, winning 3 games in a row against a True that's playing the way he's currently doing, that's obviously going to be a very, very tough task. There's no other way to put it. So we have the boys representing in the audience. Quite the memesters right there, Nate.
2 people you'll see in a lot of Twitch chats.
Yep.
And this, man, I have to agree with you there, though. The Dropper Lord is just one of those things that you do not expect to just randomly come out of the blue and throw everything off like that. It's been a very, very difficult series for uThermal, despite the fact that he's had a couple decent ideas and things going for him at the start of both games.
Getting ready to hop into game number 3 as soon as both players are ready. And Nate, I have to admit, I'm a little bit sad. I had high expectations of my Dutch boys coming here to Austin. I mean, we came in strong with Harstem, Optimus, uThermal. I at least expected 1 or 2
I was
in the
all
quarters.
hyped up, man. We were like on our way here, you know, that part of me that's becoming Dutch was like, hey, it's King's Day and everything.
Yes,
it's been a good
was.
week in Holland, and I was pulling for the Dutch boys to get a bit of a further run in this tournament myself.
I guess there's only one thing left to do, Nate. Next year we show up in an orange suit.
Yeah, full orange, both of us. Let's just do it.
Let's do it. Orange hats as well, an
Why
orange
not?
top hat.
Bring the stroopwafel. That's all you need. Bring the Dutch pride home.
It's gonna give uThermal, Harstem, and Optimus some superpowers. But it's not over yet. Let's see how he does in game number 3. But you gotta love the way that True is playing. I know there's a lot of Zerg fans out there that watch games like this and like, yeah, that's the way to play Zerg. Like, I don't want to turtle and sit on lurkers, or I don't want to make, you know, infestors, vipers, and all these spellcasters. That's not what Zerg is about. Zerg is about massing units and the swarm. Well, True has been bringing that.
True is a swarm Zerg faux show. His link control is superb. If that Dropper Lord play wasn't enough to convince you, I don't know what will. He will find a way to attack you, and then he will start hitting you non-stop. We are ready to see if he can move forward, though. This is match point for this man in the bottom right of Belshir Vestige. Give it up for the Blue Zerg representing Psystorm Gaming. He is True. He faces off against this man fighting for his tournament life, one of the only Terrans left in the Northwest, the Dutch Terran representing Team Liquid. Give it up for uThermal.
Yeah, is that Terran heart of yours starting to get a little nervous right now, Nate? I mean, you did have Special advance.
I was standing behind Special to watch the last 2 games.
Was it Special, Nate?
His control is very good. He things got a little crazy. Things got a little bit crazy in his games versus IA. IA was doing a lot of big run-by plays, kind of like you see True do, actually, with these heavy Ling hits, these heavy Baneling hits. Although he was trying to play a little bit more of a siege tank-based style. The Widow Mines actually were very key, and I feel like that's a big key for this series so far. The answer seems to be the more Widow Mines that uThermal builds, the better he does in the mid-game. So I'm going to say keep building those mines. I like the Hellion openings. I think Hellion openings versus a player like True are almost necessary because he is just so very rare to open up with those heavy Roach plays. And I'm not going to say that he never does, because as I say that, Roach Warren literally starts. But you can't count on this sort of thing happening every game. But this is why it's important to scout. So if he sees that it's a Roach Warren, then he's got something that he can play with here, because it does seem like it's going to be a very, very aggressive build out of True.
There is, of course, one more Terran that we haven't seen in action yet in the round of 16, and that's a man that was super impressive in the group stages, talking about Kalazur. It's been spending some time in Korea. He's going to be up next here on the main stage, going up against Snoot. So that should be a very fun best of 5 as well. But this one ain't over yet. However, Nate, that's a pretty fast Roach Warren, and knowing a man like True, I highly doubt that is a defensive Roach Warren.
Absolutely not. Not this early in the game, Kev, as to begin. So the real question that I start to ask myself when I see something like this is he going to do the 3 Roach? Well, okay, he goes straight up to 4. Is he going to do the 3 Roach thing? We just build 3 Ravagers and you poke and you do everything behind it? Or is this the I'm going to keep jamming Ravagers down your throat until you die opening that is also very popular on the North American ladder?
The Lynx are keeping the Reaper busy on the other side of the map as they try to pick up this SCV that's finishing this command center. Now, good news for uThermal is that he kept the Reaper at home. Bad news is the fact that he kept the Reaper at home is that he is actually not picking up on this just yet. What do you think is the ideal response here for uThermal? The moment you see these Ravagers right now, what do? Cyclone?
There's never an easy answer. It has to be Cyclone because he has the reactor, right? And 2 Cyclones can do well against this, but the thing is, if he kills that reactor, then your production gets cut up. Being forced into your main base is going to hurt a lot. And the Ravagers and Roaches, depending on how many of them he gets up there, they can bully the Cyclones out, because Cyclones building them 2 at a time on one base, that's not cheap.
The Reaper actually did a pretty good job in just being annoying in the middle of the map, and it pulled one of the Roaches back. So one of the reinforcements is going to show up a little bit later. That bunker is not finished yet. There's that reactor that you said. There is a very good chance that it will get picked off. So now it's the good old dance of 2 Cyclones. There's no Overlord nearby, right? That Overlord is a little bit late to the party.
Nope, no
So it
high
doesn't
ground.
provide high ground vision just yet.
Yeah, well, the most important thing is you play around the health, right? That weak Roach is going to get morphed into another Ravager. And this is just the point where he's just going to be able to beat him head-to-head. Yeah, the bunker not being done also hurts a tremendous amount since those Marines are your better, the better anti-air than the Cyclones are, at least.
True did make a lot of Roaches behind this, though, so this is more than just a little bit of pressure where he tries to slow down.
These builds are so infuriating when you hit these on ladder. It is so difficult to deal with them, and I think that the first couple of movements here just did not go very well in uThermal's favor. I'm not entirely sure he's going to try to push this back. You need Banshees, but as long as he has this many units, he turns the rest of these Roaches into Ravagers. It really shouldn't be possible for uThermal to move down this ramp that easily, and he might just try to force his way in.
This is kind of questionable, right, though? That's a lot of Ravagers, but these Cyclones with the bunker here as well, and a couple of SCVs being pulled, I think that uThermal should clean this up. The big question is, how many SCVs will he lose in the process?
Getting up the ramp is a very dangerous thing to do. He kills a lot of SCVs, but the SCVs are the reason why you can hold this, because they're actually reasonably effective versus those big, large surface area Ravagers. And of course, every single Ravager vial has the potential to kill all of those SCVs that stack up. But 18 workers killed. Ooh, he's gonna float at that second orbital. I mean, honestly, most people die to pushes like this, so I don't even want to say that it's like the worst thing ever, because that was a very expensive investment in terms of gas. Ravagers are not cheap. But kudos to uThermal. He's going to get a game out of this now.
Do you think there is counterattack potential here for uThermal? Or do
Since there's no Zergling speed, yeah. This was not like a Ling Ravager or Ling Roach type play, but this is still a very... It's always uncomfortable because you're not sure if they're going to make more Roaches or if they took a third base. And he is just making more Roaches. But I think that's fine, because without a lair, the Roaches will never catch the Cyclones out creep. So go for the counter while you can. And going up that ramp really just, it gives up your entire positional advantage. Like, it's much better, I think, to just rain bile on the factory and force the SCVs to come to you.
I think I agree with you there, because looking at the work account, some people may think, 30 against 22, that's pretty good for True, right? This was worth it.
No third base for Zerg in this position is way worse.
Yep. Yeah. No third hatch and no layer. So what on earth is True supposed to do? I think the only thing you can maybe do is make a bunch of queens and go for some Queen Nidus or something the moment you hit a layer. Is that an option?
That is something that I've seen before, but it really comes down to how uThermal tries to do this pressure. If he went for an attack and traded out, then it becomes very easy for True to just go for another big push, since the Cyclones are not cheap. But I do like that he's going to go for this Banshee play. I think if you recognize that the Zerg doesn't have the third, this is really smart. Take your own third, sit back, and try to just regain control of the situation and go for a normal Terran versus Zerg like you were planning on in the beginning. The lack of the third from True, even still at this point, is very interesting and makes me believe that, as you mentioned with this lair, he's gearing himself up for a one-punch knockout finish of this game. And series, I guess.
I mean, he's got 4 queens, which you could say that should be more than enough to deal with 1 or 2 Banshees. But there is a drone heading out right now, so maybe True is still just trying to go up to 3 bases. Could also be a little bit of a fake if whatever he wants to do aggressively, he wants to sell it a bit more convincingly. But I mean, we said this the last game, and at that moment it actually didn't look that good. I think this time you can say that this is for sure the best situation that uThermal has been in throughout this entire best of 5 so far.
Yeah, there is a lot to work with here. I like that he drops the scan. He doesn't want to get caught by that Spore Crawler and lose his Banshees. He recognizes the importance, the value of the Banshees. He sees the Roaches up front. I think what you want to do is move the Banshees towards the third.
Yeah, there is no anti-air there, right? There is no Spore Crawler. The Queens are out of position. I think he could have got a cancel on this hatchery quite easily.
Get the Banshees to the third, run by the Hellions as soon as you have a chance.
What do you think these extra Queens mean? Do you think there is a chance for a Nidus play, perhaps, or...?
I don't want to think so, because as long as those Cyclones are alive, they actually are one of the best counters to these Nidus plays once you have enough of them, because the way their damage works. You can't really, like, time out Cyclone attacks. The DPS is insane.
What is he going to do with all these queens? I mean, I know that True loves his queens. I've seen him play against Protoss.
Maybe he's worried that it's a bit too mechy. I'm not entirely sure. Losing these Banshees is really... Kev, I am 100% on your side with the... should have just tried to get some poke on the third. If those Banshees had gone straight to the third base, that was an easy cancel.
Because at that point, there were only 5 queens, and if 3 or 4 of them are in the main base, then this third base is incredibly exposed. Now True is going to start making a whole bunch of Roaches. He's getting a Drop-A-Lord, so he's going to send the queens to the other side of the map in a Drop-A-Lord while having these 17, 18 Roaches. He's like, all right, you know, the 1 or 2 Banshees, my queens can deal with that. And besides it, I'm just going to run you over on the ground with nothing but Roaches. This feels a little PVZ-ish to me, or ZvP, I should say, but let's see how it does against Terran.
Yeah, he's going to drop these 2 auto turrets, and he will get a Queen. Can focus fire down quite a few of these drones if he tries. Gets the Overlord instead. But yeah, there is a tank that finished, but the question is, I think with the Cyclone support... Oh, he just needs to buy a little more time, though.
Where's the drop lord?
His siege tank's very, very good.
Oh, he doesn't have Overlord speed. He doesn't have Overlord speed. Let's take a look at the drop lord.
He's just got 4 slow... He's just got 4 Queens and a slow Overlord. Well, that'll hurt your push.
It's going to take a while.
He does deny the 1-1, though, right before it finishes. He killed both eBays, which is... That's God damn it.
That's a carbon animation trailer right there, man. That's beautiful.
What are you waiting for?
That's Scary Movie 1. What am I waiting for? It's like traffic on the 405, man. It's terrible. Like, okay,
This is like, nope, actually, this is a terrible idea.
We're not going to Six Flags today. I'm sorry, kids. It's way too much traffic.
Oh, well, the Banshee can help push this away. The lack of the third is always going to be frustrating. I have to say, getting a 1-1 canceled is brutal. That is a very, very painful loss for uThermal, because otherwise I'd say he's ready to fight now, but now he's got the very heavily upgraded roaches, and I only say very because they're going to about to be +2 versus nothing, and that's a big deal.
It is, but at the same time, these roaches are going to be quite often out of position as well. The Banshee does finally fall.
Those Queens got that job done.
Like, they got the job done, but not before a couple of Ravages got picked up by that Banshee.
We said we'd kill the Banshee. We didn't say how.
It's kind of tricky now for True as well. If you take a look at his Overlord spread, he doesn't see that much on the left side of the map. So he could be quite surprised by these Marines that are being unloaded. I mean, the Roaches are not that far out of position, but maybe there is a window of opportunity here for uThermal to pick up 5, 6, 7 drones, and that would already be nice.
Yeah, this is a very, very nice maneuver here. That Queen had quite a bit of energy on it, just doing the poke, maybe denying those drones for a moment, and then the Raven comes back.
Damn, the reaction time is so fast by True. First, that drone pull at the third base where he doesn't end up losing a single drone.
Some crazy kids on NA ladder that throw these weird Raven builds all over the place. And now True is just suddenly very good at responding quickly to them.
It's just the role models these days, Nate. They're not what they used to be.
NA just has some very strange Terran players. The pathogen glands gets close to finishing up. It is going to be into the Ling Infestor style with these roaches. So the fungal growths are going to be very important. Perhaps some burrowed bombing with the infested Terrans onto the siege tanks.
The upgrades are really late for uThermal because of that push, but
yep.
As soon as he gets Combat Shield and as soon as 1-1 starts finishing up, I'm not sure if this is the type of game that True likes to play. I mean, he is getting a 5th base and he did have a decent economy, but I never felt that he truly had the economy that he's hoping for. And obviously, Roaches and Ravages and Infestors work a little differently than Lings and Banes, those 6 hatcheries.
Couple free Overlords, though.
Yeah, that actually has been happening for quite some time now.
I'll take it.
How many Overlords died in this game? I think it's like 6.
I know the Cyclone anti-air is really bad, but I mean, you don't have to like never use it. You can kill the Overlords with it. Okay, so 1-1 for the Lings is finally on the way as he makes that transition.
It should really be an Overlord over there on the left side, because in this moment, True just thinks that Medevac is gone, but it's not at all.
Yep.
And uThermal is one of these Terrans that's going to keep these Medevacs around for as long as possible.
What he's really setting up for is the big push on the right side. He has the Cyclones, he has the siege tanks. This has all the makings of a very successful push. He just needs to make sure that he sieges at the right time. I like that he's staggering the tanks, not allowing them to be hit by more than one bile. And putting these Cyclones up front, always very nice. Their damage output is great. They have a lot of health. And based on the way that this game started, I'm very shocked that the Cyclones are still alive. There's the drop coming back into the third base. 4 drones ripped apart as that hatchery falls to the 30% hit point mark. He's going to dive on top of this. The Marines are in the back. The siege tanks are trying to wail away. But with the bile support, it looks like he's cracked. uThermal's assault. So far, uThermal needs to be very cautious with this army. If he gets overwhelmed and loses everything outside of this fourth, the game will be over.
This looked super promising for uThermal, and I still think it was all right, but it was nowhere near as good as I thought it was going to be. True is truly playing some fantastic StarCraft so far today, and he's really doing his best and hanging in there. He's got to be careful with this Raven. You don't want to lose it, because the Raven has been very useful so far.
Cheeky select all army hotkey usage there, Roddy. That's what that is.
Oh my god. At least a couple of Cryptoids do get picked up, but I mean, it's all about that fourth base.
That turret, though. The man in the turret. He's guys, we're not supposed to be out this far.
He should have been assisting the Raven. Probably giving in some flight instructions like, no, avoid the Queen. Don't fly over the queen. It's kind of funny. They're both expanding towards each other. So this is going to be a point of contention, like pretty much for the next 5-6 minutes. Will they be fighting over this area?
Normally the Zerg tries to expand away from the Terran, but when it comes to True, he's like, no, let's dance.
So this is a wide open natural as well, if I've ever seen one.
Yup.
No wall, no bunkers.
All these Marines get gobbled up. Actually, no wall into the main base either. He could just fan out all over the place if he really wants to.
And True is like, hey, I like how this is going. Let's send some more. If you take a look at the mini-map, there is a big swarm of lings and roaches now running towards this left side. uThermal is going to be forced to leave quite a few units behind.
He's got him burrowed as well. Tucked away for the main. Like 10 lings in the natural. And there's the next wave coming straight up. And he can unburrow on the other side, flank the tank. These roaches getting very close to the siege tank as well. uThermal taking some heavy losses.
Yeah, quite a few Zerg units dying over here as well, losing 10, 11 SCVs. Only 38 SCVs left, actually. That is getting quite bad. uThermal still scanning that fort. He's wondering, can I move forward or not? But it's obviously very risky to run up a ramp against Infestors and Ravagers.
He's playing this push a little bit slow while he takes a ton of damage back home. The Lings have unburrowed inside of the main, looking for those add-ons. And he's taking the left side expansion during all of this. He really needs to kill that fourth base. He has to kill that fourth base.
He's getting some good tank shots up now, though. Those Infestors have been taking quite a bit of damage. And even these Ravagers are starting to get a little bruised up. A couple of Lings start showing up. There's still a Cyclone in the mix. Can the reinforcements of uThermal show up in time?
It doesn't look like it. That fourth base stands strong, and uThermal's army has been routed. 92 hit points on that hatch.
And at the same time, True is obviously expanding on the left side of the map as well.
And there's still Lings burrowed in the natural as well that are going to get up at some point.
Oh man, I mean, army supply-wise, it's quite close. And with the 2-2 upgrades finishing up and all the Infestor energy being burned, you could say that this could very well be the moment that it has to happen for uThermal. If it doesn't happen with this push, I think things will only go from bad to worse after this point.
Yep, a lot of it has to do with just the insane usage of the Lings, the great Fungals, the great Biles. This army synergy has been so nice, and he's not been able to put up that tank count because we just think about that last poke back towards his natural. There were 3 siege tanks there that the roaches were able to jump on top of, and it's just delayed and slowed. And as soon as he gets ready to make another big assault on that fourth, we all know those Lings are going to unburrow inside of his base and go right back to work.
uThermal is completely unaware of this base on the left side as well at 8 or 9 o'clock. This is the very first time that he's going to spot it. There is a Spore Crawler here and a couple spines going up as well. Gonna have to be careful. Doesn't help that his natural is still so wide open. Obviously, I don't think it's very likely uThermal's gonna go up to 3-3 anytime soon. He just doesn't have the economy for that.
Nope. And that is, of course, something that's going to play very heavily into the favor of True as he finishes up his hives. So we'll see adrenal glands begin 3-3. Probably that Ultralisk Cavern again. He's going to start the missile turret, so he's to spend more money on that. Does get this drop into the back of the third base, kills a handful of drones, but at the same time, there's the run by in the northeast. These Lings just burrowing immediately. So frustrating. Yes, he doesn't get all of them, though, with one scan. Oh, no.
The Ling that got away.
The true survivor.
Like, if I can't see them, they can't see me. That's how it works, right?
Yeah. uThermal has T-Rex vision, apparently. As these Lings push back towards the natural once more, the reinforcement wave is there. These Infestors, they're banking out a lot of energy, maxed out on most of them.
That's kind of risky, though. If a scan goes down there, that's 3 Infestors, and there's not that many Lings here to really clean up the units that have got fungal. The few Marauds go down, but the Infestors somehow get away. Because uThermal was so afraid of losing his fourth base, which is the only mining base.
He'd like to bait that army away, though. He wants to hit uThermal's fourth so bad. Uh-oh. What? Huh?
Could get fungal. There's plenty of energy on those Infestors. I mean, that one hatchery is still so low on HP, right? But I feel right now, even if this hatch falls, that wouldn't be the end of the world for True. With 3-3 on the way, adrenal glands on the way, and that base on the left side.
Yep. There are so many Infestors just sharking around here, too. These bio units do not have a crazy amount of support. And this is what I'm saying. uThermal set himself on the right side of the map, but he's just playing this way too slow to be able to make the progress that he wants. He doesn't have the upgrade advantage. He's pushed in between a couple of mineral patches, which is nice, but there's the Infestors yet again. Fungals kill everything.
Some great Fungals here by True. True is showing us that he can do more than just make Lings and Banelings and flood his opponent. Showing some great Infestor play here as well in this third game of this best of 5 in the round of 16 as things are starting to look very, very grim for the Dutch Terran. One of the last few Terrans remaining in this tournament, as he is still fighting. He's still, I mean, he has an army supply advantage. He just doesn't have much of an economy left. But maybe True actually overextended a tiny bit there on the left top side, right before his 3-3 upgrades were done. He burned a lot of energy.
The biggest problem is he still just has so many resources available to him. And he can trade out against uThermal's army, and he's going to be able to rebuild. uThermal just can't. He doesn't have the money, doesn't have the income, and everything that he needs to beat this army, like all those scans, well, those are his mules. So he needs to sacrifice his very small remaining economy just to see the infestors to even try to defend himself.
Really good play there with the medevac on the high ground, creating vision for all those buy units on the low ground, being able to force a cancel on the majority of these banelings. At the same time, True is attacking on the right top side. Doesn't have baneling speed yet, though. That's kind of funny, the 20-minute baneling speed timing. But a couple of these Marauders will fall, and more SCVs are going to fall as well.
It's so hard to take these fights in these situations because the most important units that uThermal needs to kill are all invisible. So it's not very easy to get the hits that you need.
The army for uThermal is massive, though. For the first time in a long time, he has taken not just a supply lead, but a big one. And this army seems kind of coordinated. I am not sure how True is supposed to get out of here.
And with the medevac count this high, he can burn through the fungals. He just needs to keep this army pushed into the right side. What is True going to build behind this is the real question. He's completely backed up. Does he have a scan to finish off the infestors is an extremely important question.
He's gonna land the orbital as well. He's thinking about it. He's gonna be able to pick off these Ravages, get the infestors as well. And now it's just Zerglings and one Swarm.
Oh yeah, he actually had a drop, hit that bottom left base again during all of this, and he realized he's blown that up 3 times. So that and the emergency panic, I think I might lose. Swarm Host is about to pop.
I really think uThermal should pick up the hatch on the right side. It's still so low in HP. There you go. The Marauder's going to stim forward. This hatch has been Oh, he killed his own Marauder. The mutiny.
He got in the way.
This poor guy, man. Don't hate on him because he has a big suit, Nate.
Just, you got to do what you got to do. And uThermal, finally getting a little bit of momentum here from those bases that he's been picking off. But the infested Terrans.
Oh my god, they're gonna last for a while.
Infestors, man.
Oh, it's gonna work. He's gonna kill this orbital. That's big. Wow, what a sick game. This is actually a super sick, sloppy game.
3 Ultras about to pop. The Panic Swarm Host dies. Kindness plating on the way still. And he never did get those 3-3 upgrades, did he? Right? Neither player?
So, the army supply looks very impressive for uThermal, but the majority of it is in medevacs, as he has 13 medevacs right now.
Yeah, this game is so weird because he does have 3-3, so those ultras are going to be like the 8 armor ultras versus these guys. So it's going to be very hard for him to push in to these ultraless forces once Chitinous is done.
A couple of queens showing up as well with a lot of energy. Chitinous is not done just yet. Now it is. And these Marauders with only 2-2 upgrades. Infestors coming in from the north side as well. I'm not sure if they have energy.
It might just be, I think there's just too many Marauders though. Like he should be able to punch through this. The Banelings are the ones that need to get the key hits all over the army.
Another Swarm Host is coming, Nate. It's come to avenge his brother.
It's like the new it's like the new Phoenix Commander. Like when it dies, another one just appears, It's just how it works.
A couple of Marines have to be very careful as every unit counts. I love how they were first both expanding on the right side of Belcher, and then they're like, okay, we're done on the right side. Let's start fighting on the left side of Belcher. There's one burrowed Zergling here that's preventing this orbital from landing.
I love all these medevacs too. That's one way to deal with the infestors.
Don't you feel the upgrades are a huge problem for uThermal? The fact that he only has 2-2? I mean, I know there's no other way around it.
Those Ultralisks are going to be very difficult to deal with. The only reason why I like it is because, as you mentioned, he does have a very, very big army, and he can heal through a lot of it, and he can still micro away because the creep spread hasn't been out of control. So he actually does have the ability to try and kite the Ultras in a real fight, but most of it comes down to what the infestors do, I think, and the Banelings in particular.
Gotta love the way that True has been playing so far in this tournament, though. I mean, his games against Snoot were an absolute treasure to watch, and now here on the main stage as well.
When you have no money to repair a bunker, hashtag broke.
Yep, I mean, that's because of that burrowed Zergling. That's long distance mining.
The 3 Ultralist hit squad.
Oh, that's a lot of infestors as well, Nate. I'm very worried here for uThermal. I'm not sure if he can keep this alive. Now he finally scans, but the Zergling is still there.
And that Swarm Host is there too. Look at those locusts.
Yep, they're coming.
Disgusting.
I heard what you guys did to my brother. Which Marine was it? Like a bad Taken movie,
Yeah.
Taken 4, the Locust.
So these Ultras trying to push up the high ground a little bit. And this is where the Infestors come back into play. Is just there's so many fungals, the Lings hitting from every which way. And uThermal had an army, but he just got ripped apart little bit by bit, and there's no economy to rebuild any of it.
There's this Zerg moving left and right, moving into the main base of uThermal as well. True has played an absolutely phenomenal round of 16 here, as he is looking as good as, if not better, than he did in the group stage so far. And instead of being a contender, maybe he's one of the top dogs in this entire tournament, because this looks a lot like the True we saw in Montreal.
Yep, using the Infested Terran force field to try to push these units back, and they're going to rip through into the other half of the medevacs that uThermal's got, and that's going to be all she wrote. I mean, uThermal just doesn't have any income. This last base, he moved what little he had over here, and I mean, if you don't leave the game soon enough, he's just going to infest all of your units, uThermal. He's not any way to kill these Ultralisks. GG True takes the 3-0 victory.
That was a very cool match in the round of 16. I think one of the more entertaining ones we've seen. Even though in the end it was a dominant victory for True, I think all the games were very fun. Cactus Valley was awesome, and I think that final game was an absolute pleasure to watch. Just in the end, I mean, True is showing us that he's in shape again, Nate.
Yeah, True bringing out the real feeling of the Swarm all over his opponent as he advances. Let's hear his thoughts on the main stage.
Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations, True. I can tell you're absolutely ecstatic about moving on to that round of 8. In the past, when you've played uThermal, it's been pretty close. Your head-to-head score was 5-5, but today it was a 3-0. So what do you think happened today? 일단 8강 진출. 이해하셨어요? 질문? 오케이.
Today, I think he has jet lag. I think.
That's very kind of you, making an excuse for your opponent. But of course, let's dive right into talking about that series, particularly in game number 3. I think it was a really fun game for all of us to watch, but in the end, why do you think it was yourself that got the win?
I thought I lost when I lost my all army. But I checked his upgrade. His upgrade 2-2. So I think I have a chance. So yeah.
And I know that the last time we saw you, it was at Katowice, where you unfortunately had the group stage exit. Since then, you've been very busy. I checked in the last month, you won 7 online cups, so you've been very, very busy, a lot of practicing. So how would you say your condition is right now?
I think my condition not best because I couldn't sleep well, and I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I think I can win this tournament. Yeah.
Nice. And my last question for you, True, before I let you go, I was looking at your 2017 win rates. Your ZvZ is your highest win rate right now in your matchups, and your next opponent is Cham, a Zerg player. So are you feeling pretty confident?
Cham is now pretty good now, and I practice with him a lot before. Yeah, so maybe I think I can win. Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations again, True. And with that, it'll be True moving on to the round of 8.
That is correct, indeed. Our 4th Zerg moving through into the round of 8 now as True, looking very, very dominant, to be honest, across the entire series there against uThermal.
Yeah.
Even though uThermal had, you know, a good kind of sprint in that last game.
Yeah, I mean, I think game 2 was a very promising start for uThermal,
Yeah.
but except for the beginning of game 2, I feel like True really dictated the flow and, you know, took the game by the horns, kind of decided where it was going to go, and always made it, you know, his level of game. It's where he made his style work really, really well. And like True said on stage, it looked precarious for him when uThermal had a huge army supply advantage. You know, he lost a lot of his army, but, you know, Infestors, pretty damn good, and he controlled them very, very well.
It's very easy to doubt somebody who's not been playing as well as we're used to, and I often chose that route, but I think he shut me up pretty well here, did True, because that was very impressive. 3-0 over uThermal, a very good Terran vs Zerg player in himself.
It's a solid win.
Which brings us to 4 Zergs in the round of 8.
It's true. There is the potential for another Terran, though, coming up in just a few moments' time. We should actually take a look at the brackets and kind of get you up to date as to where everything is at the moment, as well as what is potentially to come in the next couple of rounds. We have one more round of 16 match left to complete. Kelazar is going to be going up against Snoot. That is 7 of the 8 confirmed now in that round of 8.
Yeah.
So you have one Terran at the moment in the round of 8.
Yeah, the final Terran Hope, the Terran Hope there in the round of 16 is Kelazar. That's going to be another blockbuster TVZ there. I actually feel like when I look at this, I would have said before the series that uThermal and True, well, actually I did say it, that uThermal and True would be really close. I think Snoot is pretty favored against Kelazar. This is going to be a tough one for him, but I'm actually going to be casting that one, I believe, and I'm really, really excited. It is my favorite matchup in StarCraft 2, and I think I'm going to be bringing the noise.
Yeah, I can see you're excited already.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm pretty excited.
I'm excited for when we get to the semi-finals and maybe all the Terrans are completely out, and then we can just remove this.
And then I just talk. Yeah, we unhook it and throw it on the ground, set it on fire. Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows what might happen? I think now what we'll do is we shall go to a break here for WCS Austin, and when we are back, it's our final round of 16 match before we get into the round of 8 as True, as obviously already advanced on, and we're going to have Snoot going up against Kelazar.